You know, one of the best things about the PlayStation 2 era is how you could walk into a game store and find three completely different, off the wall experiences sitting next to each other right there on the shelf. You never quite knew what you were going to get. I'm Dan Gnadt, the PS2 guy, and welcome back to This Week in PlayStation 2 History. Today, we're coming to the latter half of August and looking at exactly that kind of a wild lineup. I've got one of the absolute best first-person shooters to ever hit the console, a completely unique sci-fi action game I missed out on back in the day, and an open-world off-road racer that, well, we need to be honest about. Let's jump in.
What do you get when you mix a gritty Wild West outlaw with Gothic vampires? You get one of my favorite first-person shooters on the PS2. And maybe one of my all-time favorite shooters of all time. I'm kicking things off on August 16th, 2005 with the release of High Moon Studios' absolute heavy hitter Darkwatch. If you caught my full first-time playthrough of this one on the channel a while back, you already know how I feel about it. This instantly cemented itself as one of my all-time favorite first-person shooters on the entire system. The pitch is insane. You play as Jericho Cross, a train robber in the 1800s who accidentally blows up a vault holding a vampire lord. You get bitten, slowly start turning into a vampire yourself, and get drafted into an ancient secret society of monster hunters to fix your mistake. It is a remarkably solid shooter. As you become more of a vampire, you unlock supernatural powers based on a morality system. If you choose to be good, you get powers like silver bullets and armor. If you give in to your curse, then you get blood frenzy attacks and start sealing souls. The weapon designs are fantastic. Putting blades on the end of a Wild West revolver just makes sense, and the Gothic Western aesthetic was perfectly executed. Darkwatch is a certified classic. It's one you should absolutely check out either on original hardware or through emulation. It looks and plays amazing on a Retroid Pocket device. It's one of the weirdest, most unique sci-fi action games on the console. I completely missed it in 2003. Jumping over to August 19th, 2003, I'm checking out one of the true hidden gems of the PS2 library, THQ's Alter Echo. Confession time, I actually just fired this up for the first time today, and man, I've been missing out. This game is incredibly strange, but in the best way possible. The entire world and everything in it is made up of this futuristic substance. You play as Nevin, and you get bonded with this experimental combat suit that completely dictates how the game is played. You can dynamically morph your suit into three distinct forms on the fly: a fast melee sword form, a heavy gun form, and a stealth mode that lets you crawl around like a sci-fi lizard. You have to constantly juggle between these three forms mid-combat just to survive. Plus, it features a really cool time-stopping mechanic where you can queue up a massive combo of attacks and watch it play out all at once. It's mechanically ambitious, the art style is super distinct, and if you slept on this one back in the day like I did, you need to track down a copy and try this out. Now, before they made Red Dead Redemption, Angel Studios let us launch licensed trucks off mountains. It sounds awesome, but the reality was a little more mediocre. Finally, I'm rolling the calendar all the way back to the console's early days of August 21st, 2001, with Test Drive Off-Road wide open. Look, by late 2001, gamers were all just waiting for Grand Theft Auto 3 to drop and change the industry. But right before that happened, Angel Studios, who would later become Rockstar San Diego, dropped off this early off-road racer. The massive selling point here was the sheer freedom. There were no invisible walls boxing you into a tight track. You could ignore the checkpoint route, cut straight across a canyon, and launch your fully licensed Hummer or Ford Bronco off a 300-foot cliff just to see what would happen. But if we're being completely honest, the game just wasn't that good. It sits right around a 64 on Metacritic for a reason. The physics were incredibly floaty, the AI rubber banded like crazy, and it just felt like a painfully average arcade racer. If you wanted this kind of bouncy off-road gameplay back in the day, then you were much better off playing Smuggler's Run. Be sure to check out my review of that classic if you're interested. Still, it's a fascinating look at the open world mechanics Angel Studios was experimenting with right before they exploded in popularity. And that's my wrap up for the back half of August. It's crazy to think that all three of these games lived on the exact same console. You've got the elite vampire gunfights of Darkwatch, the shape-shifting combat of Alter Echo, and the chaotic, average mudslinging of Test Drive. And now it's your turn. Did you play any of these back in the day? Were you blowing up undead cowboys as Jericho Cross, or were you struggling against the AI in a Mercedes SUV? Let me know in the comments. If you all enjoyed hanging out today and just talking retro games, then do me a favor. Hit that like button, share the video, hype the video, and subscribe so you don't miss next week's episode. I'm Dan Gnadt, the PS2 guy. Thanks so much for watching, and as always, remember, stay retro. I'll catch you in the next one.
Midnight strikes!